are going to have a look at what they're going to be picking up here as we hop into Champions Select. Xiaogu are going to start off on the blue side here. Of course, highest seed, I believe, especially in comparison to WE. It's same group, first and second in their groups respectively. And Rise is eventually going to be banned away here on the blue side by QG, not wanting Peko to be able to pick that one up, unfortunately, as Corki and Lulu are going to be banned. And I like the Lulu ban because it's like
she's an 80 carry.
also just neutralizes everything, so you don't really need to be that great. Just play out the lane, that's fine. But Corki makes a lot of sense.
It's just, this is how predictable these bans are. So I write down draft phase so that way I can shelf it, come back to it post game. And I immediately wrote down Rise Karma without even thinking. It was just like a muscle memory. Thanks, QG, for staying strong.
Damn right. Well, they are going to ban away 957's Lissandra as well. Wasn't able to get it in the last series at all. Was picked away from him in the final game, where Xiaohu actually played a fantastic Lissandra to close out the series.
Is it going to be Kindred or Graves as priority pick?
Graves, got to be Graves. Graves has actually been a whole lot more successful recently.
Well, Gragas is also available and can be used as a flex pick.
Very good point.
But I have a feeling it's going to be one of those three junglers.
Azir is also up. Oh, why am I even talking about that? Does Peko play it? This is going to be so
I
interesting.
guess we're going to find out.
Do they prioritize Ezreal? Because Mystic, of course, is more than happy to pick it up, get rid of sort of those mid lane flex champions from Peko. Lucian's going to be locked away. Xiaohu has actually played this one in the mid lane. Not sure whether he's played the AP variant. Of course, he hasn't, because if you ever want to know anything about Gamty, I'm your man, and I can assure you that it was AD Lucian there in the mid lane. Rush to Bloodthirster.
Okay, though, we have a priority pick for Uzi. Makes sense. Again, we saw how much he matters for that team.
Is it Uzi? Who knows?
Is it Uzi? I'm gonna think it's Uzi.
Yeah,
I don't think they're gonna pull Lucian into the mid lane.
It's also going to be really difficult to pick Lucian and then not give it to Uzi in any circumstance, even if it would suit heading into the mid lane, as Poppy's going to be hovered here for 957. Of course, Echo's still available if V does want to pick it up, and Graves, the coveted jungle pick at the moment, and Condi has been showing a lot of prowess on the champion as well.
I mean, Graves has pretty much been the go-to for all of the junglers in the LPL. We saw for a long time it was kind of the rise of Nidalee, and then Kindred entered as kind of a pseudo counter to that, but so far everyone's like, Kindred, Nidalee, forget them. Of course, Nid banned in this game, but prioritizing that Graves very heavily.
Yeah, people love picking the Graves into the Kindred as well, and with Nidalee banned away, sort of that is taking care of that top S tier of junglers. As Swift having a look at the Rumble. We saw a brief stint of the Rumble jungle, but never really stuck around.
I wouldn't mind it.
I'd love it. It sounds amazing. Lay down the red carpet for both of your AD carries to go nuts.
I also want to quickly touch on the Poppy priority versus Echo priority for 957. I think it makes a lot of sense. Spawn talks about this all the time, that Poppy's ultimate is worth X gold depending on how many and which members she kicks out of a team fight.
Yep.
And how it changes the course of the team fight drastically if utilized correctly versus just the raw power of Echo on his kit. And I think against a team like QG, it makes a lot of sense that someone who's known for their 5v5 should probably just look at dismantling that.
Oh, exactly right. And Swift actually deciding to opt out of picking his jungler is going to take away the Maokai here. Some Sivir Azir protection, likely, but oh my goodness. If WE lock this in, it would be so smart. I just feel like getting rid of the Ezreal possibility here for QG is so important. Plus, Mystic is probably one of the best Ezreals I've ever seen.
Yep, likewise, Zero has been performing phenomenally on that Bard.
Yeah.
I actually got 2 bans against him in the series for RNG, so no surprises there. And likewise, Bard is going to bully Alistar so hard in lane phase, at least levels 1 through 3, so it can really give them a leg up against the likes of Uzi.
Yeah, and we've historically been talking about the fact that Moore is somewhat of a weak link here for QG. It is all about Uzi in that lane, but honestly, for WE, it's all, in the early game especially, it is all about Zero and how he commands respect from any other bottom lane, especially with this Bard. His Janna was the same thing. I mean, he had mid laners flashing on him, and he's just like, I don't care. You can do that. I'm just going to Monsoon you away. It's fine. Waste your summoner spells on me.
It was timed well.
Yeah, man is ridiculously good. But
Peko, please.
they're just illustrating Peko's champion pool as we quickly hop back over to QG, as that bottom lane is locked in on the side of WE.
Oh, Swift's Lee Sin.
I'd love to see it. Stepping away from the Kindred just feels like a good idea. I just don't like it into the Graves. Just the collateral damage over the top of the Lambs of Spite once it's finished. Just feel like too easy cleanup. I don't know. Spawn convinced me yesterday.
What?
That, you know, Graves into Kindred, pretty good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm too sold.
He's got AoE. I was looking at the LeBlanc pick, so I actually kind of tuned out for a second there. But the idea that if everyone's super low, coming out of Lambs or Spite and Graves is like the AoE damage on his auto attacks, he's just going to... Is that what you said?
No, sorry, I just looked at Pecco's face when he locks in Victor and you see this sly shake of the head. He's like, oh, don't know how this one's going to go. But we'll have to see. Really excited to see Pecco out of his comfort zone.
If you just cover up the nameplate, this is still a very practiced composition from the QG Reapers.
Damn right it is.
He's got one of the best Victor players possibly in the world on the roster behind him, so might have picked something up along the way. Yeah,
and I have a feeling, you know, the man was known for his incredible mechanical prowess. And, you know, hitting skill shots, anything like that, is something that Pecco was phenomenal at. His aggression, the way he weaved his spells with an Ezreal was definitely something to talk about. And we'll see whether he can translate that into the mid lane here with the Victor now. Death Rays. Of course, no one really having the same, I guess, method of shooting out a skill shot than Victor, apart from maybe a Rumble.
Rumble.
Yeah.
It's like a Rumble.
It's like actually the only two, isn't it?
But we do have our completed compositions. Team WE, pretty much both these teams are very familiar with these compositions. They run them all the time. Team WE's comp is going to be more oriented towards poke. Yep. LeBlanc has to be recognized as a poke champion, especially when sieging due to the double distortion use there. On the other side, it's all 5v5 from the QG Reapers.
Damn right, and we'll see if they're going to be able to make it work. Ladies and gentlemen, coaches have shaken hands. Let's get into the first game of our third place series. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for our first game in our third place match. QG on the blue side here against WE. WE picking away the Ezreal from Pecco, potentially there in the mid lane. Not sure whether he actually was going to play it. We'll see how comfortable he is moving into the mid lane now on the Victor.
Keystone masteries have appeared on your screen right there. Nothing too out of the ordinary. We've seen a lot of Alistars changing up their masteries. So no longer the Windspeaker's Blessing with the 6.6 changes to Triumphant Roar.
Yeah.
Some Bond of Stone. We've seen Storm Raider Surge. No, not Storm Raider Surge, excuse me.
Not sure whether you're going to be able to do 30% of someone's
Thunderlords. I can't right now.
The fastest Alistair on the Rift.
I was so tilted from last night. It's just continued. We're almost upside down.
It's fantastic. Look, you're in Australia. Welcome to Down Under
I'm
Frostgren.
just excited that I got to finally cast the QG Reapers.
Well, there was some doubt there. Thankfully.
It was a little bit close.
Yeah.
Here we go. Meowkai.
Yeah, I know. I was trying not to go too crazy, but I'm still in spawn mode, so I feel like I can get a bit excited about Meowkai here.
So I love the rise of Maokai. He doesn't have a lot of terrible matchups into the top lane. Pretty much is going to neutralize a lot of this, which is good because there's a lot of really hard carry top laners right now. But more importantly, and the bigger thing from Maokai for me, is the fact that snowball junglers or carry junglers are really in vogue right now, particularly Kindred and Graves in this game. And Maokai just gives you this massive free reign for ganking with Twisted Advance.
Yeah, damn right. He's also going to be really good against sort of the AoE nature of Condi on the Graves, and as well as GA, who will be using that Mimic Distortion.
He also does lovely in a lane swap.
Oh, man, just so beautiful. Speaking of which, that is definitely going to be ensuing here as Xie and Pecco going aggressive against one another. Oh, nice. Pecco only barely losing that trade. I'm going to be giving him benefit of the doubt most of the time.
Okay.
That's going to be my plan.
But we do have the lane swap initiated by Team WE. Just to quickly touch back on this, Mystic and Zero are into that top side, although Zero is taking a quick spin to try to figure out where everyone was, and it looks like we may have a gank. I'm looking at Alistar.
Yeah, both of them making their way towards the mid.
But smartly, Xie is playing on the strong side of his map, has his back towards Condi as well as 957, and that's why he's posturing and standing on the top side of the lane, which pretty much denies a lot of time from Moore here.
Yeah, and really unfortunate mark placement for the first one on the side of QG. It's on the enemy Raptor camp. That's awful. Normally it's a Rift Scuttler. What's that? Anyway, WE are going to make it towards this turret. We'll see whether they've got enough minions in order to take this one down in the first push. Peko nails himself a cannon creep. And if AD carries can do anything, they can farm.
Something that I do want to touch on is Graves and Kindred's positioning. So Kindred is actually sneaking into the jungle trying to figure out which camps are available. Isn't going to find any, so I'm curious if Swift is going to collapse now. Nope, instead he's looking for the gank onto mid lane.
Well, getting Peko in a position of power is really important here.
Oh, he's spotted out by the incoming creep wave. Unlucky.
A little bit sad. Just heads back into the enemy jungle.
But the thing is he could have made the decision. So you had two choices right there. You either go into the mid lane and you gank and try to snowball Peko ahead, or you collapse down into the bottom and help assist with a 4 VO push, which means that you could consolidate this creep wave and push it into the second tier tower. And instead it is going to be a 3v3 on both side lanes. It will be Team WE that grabbed the first tier tower, but QG are able to even this up quickly following.
Yeah, but, you know, a little bit behind. Had to wait for an extra minion wave, so slightly unfortunate. V is going to grab solo gold for that one. Is Peko going to get ganked? Walks out of the way of the Cosmic Binding, which is good. And
that's the difference in taking down these towers faster. Just that simple gank on mid lane. Yes, it didn't equate to anything, but by getting the advantage, you have these small windows of time where you can say, okay, we're going to translate this into an objective. We're either going to gank mid lane or take Rift Herald or do Dragon. And in this case, Team WE decided to apply pressure to Peko.
Yeah, well, seeing whether they can capitalize on someone that may not be as used to the mid lane. That being said, all of these players play solo queue, guys. All of them have fantastic mechanics. So switching, you know, probably not going to mean that he's, you know, awful.
Well, the biggest thing to me is the difference of when an AD carry and a mid laner will be relevant in terms of map pressure.
Yeah.
In a lane swap, the mid lane is actually isolated quite a bit, whereas normally, you know, the mid laner has far more control about the early tempo pace of the game, especially if they line up with the jungler early. So I actually think Peko lucked out in a lane swap scenario here because it's more just being that AD carry, I'm just going to farm guys, isolated matchup, it's fine.
Well, actually, Condi making his way towards the top side here. It is going to be a 2v2 in this scuffle as Swift bouncing around. 957 taken down very, very low. Tries to flash over, but very interesting decision-making there as V has to flash out, but is going to be safe. And now as Condi, he's such a beast with that True Grit running. Has to flash, but he's going to miss the wall as Peko is going to be able to come in and grab the second kill. QG playing great, but Shie's going to answer. Just destroys his lane opponent.
So Peko utilizes the TP there. Make sure that he gets the earlier rotation ahead of LeBlanc, picks up a free kill for himself. Kind of a questionable decision from 957 to flash over and try to find the heroic charge on the stun. Obviously knew that he was going down and trying to turn it for Condi, but just didn't have the damage available.
Yeah, and you can see actually WE immediately rotate around to try and deny a bit of this farm from Peko, but makes his way back to this lane pretty quickly. So death time is very, very short.
That's so funny.
Don't be too worried.
Against the likes of LeBlanc, who didn't take the teleport, so loses some split push ability there, as Moore is actually setting up a trap here. Hold on. No, they're just going to take Crab and walk around.
Well, actually, it wasn't Peko that fell down.
No, I was...
Yeah.
What I was talking about is because LeBlanc decided to take the Ignite as opposed to the TP, and we've talked about how it's cool for LeBlanc to take TP. She can. It opens up 3-1 split pushing availability there, which is something that she actually likes to do a lot. But, of course, against the likes of Peko, who isn't a mid laner, maybe you want that Ignite because you want a bit more kill pressure. But the brilliance here is if LeBlanc ever walks into Fog of War, Victor cannot follow. He will just die, and it completely zones him out of areas. So Peko, who normally could have just walked up there, decides to TP.
Yeah.
And gets to have that free advantage simply because Shie wanted the kill pressure on him. That's all. Good job, Peko. Nice TP.
Yeah, nicely played, Peko. And then managed to walk back to the mid lane, of course, picked up that wave, and has, in fact, evened out this CS quite considerably.
But yeah,
Condi in a bit of trouble right now as Swift. He's going to make his way in as well as V's teleport. He's going to cancel it, but saves his mid laner.
So what was really cool was the positioning from Peko. He walked forward towards where LeBlanc would distortion back and technically took more auto attacks in terms of damage, but he knew that the key thing was blocking the chains, and he used the creeps to do so for him, which is why he stepped the way he did.
Yep, nice flash there from Zero towards the top side of the map, but good summon a spell gained there from Moore. Just wastes a headbutt. As Swift is going to come over the top. Condi's here. We'll see whether any pressure is going to be gained back here. As there's the flash head bar pole. The Twisted Advance comes in as Zero dies in his magical journey. V just celebrates by heading through himself as the culling's going to come out. Uzi commanding the respect. 3-1 now is the kill score in favor of QG. This is a team, looks like they've got something to prove here in this third place match, especially early on.
Not a lot of respect from Zero. He already burned his flash the first time the combo came around and then immediately walks back into flash pulverize range.
Yeah.
Will be a free tower for QG, and they get an early lead. Meanwhile,
yeah, Chaos Storm down in the mid lane. Pekko's learned a thing or two from Doinby, I believe. Knows that as soon as he hits level 6, you got to just use that button. Waited until level 7, so we'll see whether he works on that as this series progresses.
But it's why they use that button. So Doinby does this thing where, like you said, as soon as he's level 6, he'll drop the Chaos Storm, especially against the likes of LeBlanc, just because it's a bit more expensive to itemize into defenses for her. You have to usually immediately go into some form of MR. And so you're not trying to kill anyone. I mean, obviously, if you get the kill, that's nice at level 6 when you drop your ultimate. You're just trying to pressure them out of lane to buy yourself a free back, get a few more levels so there's not as immediate kill pressure as a level 6 LeBlanc versus level 6 Victor.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that, you know, the lower health she is, the more you can just hit back after she jumps in on you. Death Ray and the Q going to be pretty potent as far as that is concerned. More dodges a stun as Zero is going to be able to throw out the Cosmic Binding, but QG just creating a whole lot of vision pressure. Condi delivers the blue buff over to GA, but that means the jungler is on the bottom side of the map. WE might need to be a bit careful, and they're just protecting Uzi. This guy's farming up a Storm.
Well, he got an isolated lane matchup because it was the lane swap initiated by Team WE. Unsure if Team WE thought that QG would try to dodge them simply because they had the Bard and Alistar and tried to predict a lane swap. But either way, a lot of wasted effort out of picking up Bard into Alistar to not find Uzi and keep him down.
Yeah, exactly right. GA actually getting the worst of that trade here in the mid lane. Upgraded Hexcore doing work here for Pekko, who was able to move out of the way of a lot of the damage that GA was trying to put down. And Pekko being quietly, you know, impressed by this guy in the mid lane. GA is no slouch when it comes to that one as he throws out the distortion, but Death Ray is going to keep him down. Eats himself some Coco as Condi and Zero are going to make their way in, and QG not able to continue this siege. Distortion is going to help GA clear it out. But QG with a lot of control. 1,400 gold the lead here in the early stage.
Yeah, the big thing is that Team WE need to allocate their... What's the word I'm looking for? Clear?
Yeah.
Wave clear. That's the word I wanted.
Ah.
Simply because LeBlanc was pushed back.
Well, speaking of pushback, he's going to head back to base. Probably will be able to finish off that Abyssal Scepter as well. QG, with everyone there in the mid lane, it has meant that Pekko is going to fall behind just a little bit on that farm. 14 behind right now. But with LeBlanc back in base, he should be able to even this one out.
Should get another 7 creeps.
Yeah.
Still behind, but that's fine. I mean, he's Victor, but he's also an 80 carry main.
And an Ezreal main as well, so, you know, happy to be a little bit behind in the early stages of the game, as Ezreal does put up with. And speaking of which, Mystic, at the moment, farming up fantastically. Has been given a lot of the resources from WE, especially in recent matches. They've learned to trust this man with their late game. Trying to give him as much as possible moving in there, and he's going to need it against Uzi.
Yeah, and it comes again to this idea that you have 2 different options. Hold on, Swift finds 957.
Yeah, prancing forward here. Lots of damage out of this
He's got
Kindred.
red buff.
Yeah. I actually looked at his items there. I thought it might have been a warrior enchantment because he was doing a heck of a lot of work to 957, but he doesn't have a lot of armor right now.
Yep, only has the Swifties available to him as Magical Journey comes in. It's a 2v2, 2v3 now.
Yeah, everyone looking for it from WE as the Essence Flux is going to go wide, but V just trying to create some distance right now. He gets knocked up into the air with the ultimate, but V
Condi.
is going to be okay for now. All collateral damage. If the True Shot Barrage had have hit, would have secured that kill, but WE with 4 members unable to grab themselves a kill. We'll see whether they can consolidate the tower.
Uzi is arriving. He will have the Gatling gun available.
Yeah. More as well, looking for a headbutt pulverize, but there's the deep teleport V. A double teleport coming in right now as well as Moore doesn't quite find the pulverize, but Mystic is going to get caught out of position. V grabs it with the Vengeful Maelstrom, but GA trying to pressure out with at least a zoning distortion there, and WE don't want any of this. They sacrifice the AD carry. Now they're going to move out of the way. Oh, Jia actually still hanging around, seeing whether he can put some pressure on this one. Uzi just trying to play zone control with that culling. They clear out the vision here as well, and they will sacrifice the dragon. But WE could have lost a heck of a lot more.
Yeah, but they can also rotate into the mid lane. Xie is the only one available. He doesn't have a very large mana pool. And with Uzi and the double tap, they could get some decent chip damage here.
Yeah. Mystic
yeah, Team WE, they have to get into position here.
Well, Condi is the one moving over.
They're just going to give it.
Yeah, QG. Just going to let it happen. They grab the dragon. That is definitely good enough for them. Another Hex Core upgrade has come in for Pekko. So a little bit more movement speed on the Q. And, of course, more scaling AP for this Victor.
Next objective to take should be the Rift Herald there. So QG didn't want to overextend themselves by trying to siege mid-tower after taking, like you said, the free kill and the dragon, just because Team WE could have gotten in for a counter-engage quick enough.
Yep.
But I expect that kind of resetting the map, that'll be where they go next.
It's going to be Uzi actually picking up this mid lane farm. They're trying to funnel as much into this AD carry as they can. Essence Reaver completed. Cull now almost to the point where it's done. And yeah, Rift Herald going to be taken down. QG.
What's important is who this is going to go on to. If Swift's going to keep it and try to continue to stack up for Kalista, or if they're going to feed it over into Uzi and then put it into the mid lane.
Well, it is going to be Swift that grabs it. Uzi was, of course, moving up, but decides not to grab it. You can see QG still with the lead, but WE probably happy right now, waiting to scale that Ezreal into the later stages of the game. Get something happening there. Of course, you mentioned QG's willingness to get into a team fight, and we know this team as being one that wants to team fight at all stages, irrespective of how the game's going. See whether that is going to be the case, because it hasn't been working out for them in recent weeks. If they've managed to find that form again, it could look great moving into the second split of 2016, as well as grabbing them their championship points here in this best-of-5 series.
I like how calm and patient Pekko is being, waiting for the creep wave to come towards him, not putting himself in any unnecessary danger. But we'll see if Mystic backs off after this, possibly a rotation onto the mid lane.
Yeah, Uzi actually takes a lot there from Xie.
They're looking to gank Uzi from behind. It's like they've got two different dinner pieces. I'm trying to think like the most polite way to say this. They're debating between do we kill Uzi or do we kill Pekko, and they're pulling the trigger on Uzi.
Yeah, the teleport is going to come in, but Uzi does dash out of the way. Tempered Fate onto Moore, though. Oh my goodness, he is between a rock and a hard place and an entire Team WE lineup. He's going to go down, Unbreakable Will or not. WE grabbed their second kill of the match. Oh my goodness, Uzi as well in a whole host of trouble, but no, Xie is just going to lose his clone, because of course I get overexcited, and that is going to go off. QG are going to be fine, but Uzi, quick fingers on the relentless pursuit.
But it looks like the appropriate analogy was cheeseburger, as it was more that gets picked up.
Oh my goodness.
But Team WE, they're being quite proactive, normally known as a very control-paced, kind of slow style of League of Legends. They're on the hunt. They were looking between top and mid lane, like who's going to step out of position, who's going to get it.
Yeah, and I think this is really good, especially considering their comp. They've got a LeBlanc now, who does have the Abyssal Scepter, almost has that Merlinomicon now completed. And I mean, they want to be making moves at the moment. They've got Zero on the Bard. They have playmaking potential.
So we talked about how this is, because what you're getting at is the ability to pick, and how this is a poke-based composition with Ezreal and LeBlanc, as well as Bard. But likewise, Xie...
Oh my goodness, Chaos Storm goes down. He's looking for Pekko. I have a feeling he's going to be able to nab it too as the chains do go off and Xie grabs the 1v1. Can't believe Pekko actually wanted that.
He didn't necessarily want it, but he knows that the LeBlanc's going to fight him, so he may as well try his hand at trading 1-for-1 there. But this is what we're talking about, the pick potential in this composition. Not just with the LeBlanc, but also with the Bard. That is how Moore was caught out, was a nice Tempered Fate and a choke point. So watch for Zero and Xie to kind of lead another facet of this composition.
Yeah, and these have been the players that have been stepping up for WE as well. As 957, he's in a whole host of trouble. The Twisted Advance is going to get him on top of 957, but he gets underneath the turret. Nice ultimate comes out as he flashes himself to relative safety. Condi makes his way in. End of the line is there, and everyone flashing over the top. Swift can't exactly dance fast enough right now as the Lamb's Respite is going to come in. He's trying to fight on top of it, but Condi That's the power of the Graves. Just destroys him with all of his burst damage afterwards. But in comes QG. Xie going to be knocked up into the air. Uses the flash to get out. Low health bars now on WE, but they're looking for the re-engage with the man advantage. Tempered Fate is going to be flashed out of the way of, but oh my god. This Zero player is just ridiculous. There's Mystic, throws out a true shot barrage. Uzi, magical journey coming down as Zero might sacrifice his life, but Uzi's going to die. Mystic playing like an absolute god, and WE coming up massive in this team fight.
And reminder that QG won the initial skirmish and team fight, so from a gold deficit, Team WE are able to turn this one around and get their foot back in the game. Here's the replay. So first and foremost, Swift and V go far too deep. Swift burns his flash here, still eats the Cosmic Binding, but let's not talk about that hit radius. There's the burst damage. Of course, Condi does pretty much waste the collateral damage trying to catch Swift in case he gets away. From here, it's all about Zero and Mystic, and like you said, hitting the necessary skill shots, hitting the necessary Cosmic Bindings.
Oh.
Yeah, that was dirty. And then
So
the
dirty.
really sick magical journey that takes Mystic and him all the way in front of QG's line of scrimmage. And Uzi's like, there's nothing I can do at this point.
Oh, just takes so much damage there. And Zero's just so happy to sacrifice his life, knowing exactly what he can achieve before he goes down. His Bard honestly needs to be banned. I don't know whether QG have enough bans in order to deal with it here, as Moore takes his namesake in damage. Or at least more than he can handle right now, as GA clearing out this mid lane quite effectively, 158 to 132, so at least Peko has managed to claw back that CS difference a little bit. Almost has the Abyssal Scepter himself.
5-0-1.
Yeah, I mean, there was a certain Xiaohu that had a similar performance on this champion. Did a whole bunch of work as Zero is going to slow down V. Has to use the flash to get out. Vengeful Maelstrom there to keep him alive, and he will be A-OK. As WE looking to try and set up for something here towards the bottom side of the map. Not a whole lot available to them, as Rift Herald is going to eat himself, head back home, make some room for Baron as we hit the 20-minute mark.
Exactly where Team WE want to be, however. The most important structures on the map for either team is still going to be the outer mid towers. But it's now, that was an interesting interaction.
Oh god, Moore is in a whole host of trouble. Uzi gets bound up. Culling not going to at least be interrupted, so they are able to at least fend them away.
And the question was going to be how they break these freezes. So Uzi and Moore have taken over position in the mid lane because they don't want, QG don't want to separate and farm between, they don't want their mid laner and their AD carry farming the same lane. They want to make sure that they're both getting independent sources of gold. So Peko has been up in the top lane. And Team WE were able to just pull the trigger on Moore and Uzi, push them out of the lane, and continue to get lots of chip damage on that tower with wave clear not available.
Yeah, WE as well. Even on these turrets at the moment, so just based on those extra kills, the extra farm in the mid lane there as well, meaning that they are ahead by about 1,700. Peko going to grab himself the blue buff here, as he's just not willing to follow him out. Waits for the Q, picks it up. All too easy, but while that's all happening, GA is pushing towards the top side of the map. The LeBlanc split push online, 32 CS in the lead, almost has Luden's Echo completed. That was a needlessly large rod that he grabbed.
A little unfortunate, though, that Xie doesn't have the double teleport available to him, so we'll see how extreme he goes on the split pushing, especially because of how necessary he is to his team's lead. Again, 5-0-1, it's simply what, a 1K, 1.5K difference between these teams? Pretty much all of that is on this LeBlanc.
It most certainly is. In QG, this is a team that wants to team fight, so if they manage to deal with GA quickly, it could be a good news story, as Condi takes a lot of damage. GA wants to be able to find Swift, but throws down the Lamb's Respite. He will be safe for now.
Barrage.
Yeah. Oh! No. Dancing shoes on. Swift gets out.
Good job there. They do force back another member, though, which means there is a disadvantage onto this tower, and the siege continues.
Yeah, using GA very aggressively. Actually, something that we were looking for out of Xiaohu yesterday.
Peko still not being in the appropriate lane matchup.
Well, look, you can't expect too much from him. The guy's normally an AD carry.
And I'm not saying where he is poor. Again, the decision-making from QG is that we don't want Uzi and Peko in the same lane because we want to funnel gold onto both of them. Yeah. But if Uzi or Swift or Moore continue to get chunked out, Peko needs to make the earlier rotation and be there in time to at least save the tower, if not his team.
Well, as we can see, GA back here towards the top side of the map, just clearing, clearing, clearing. That 30 CS lead is only extending at the moment.
No one can deal with this LeBlanc.
Yeah, Not sure whether anyone is going to be able to go and grab that farm, but the inner turret probably will be able to be defended, and you can see it's Pekko that's going to head over there and try to do so.
And look at the differences between the tank lines right now. The Spirit Visage as well as the Sunflower is completed for 957, whereas V is still trying to find the last pieces for... This is so mean.
Yeah.
He knows. No.
No, Pekko's just like, no. And then he's like, thank goodness we didn't do anything silly. Geo going to pop his sweeper. Not actually going to find that ward in the brush just yet. Just sweeping things out. If he can find them, is now Mystic. Clearing out this minion wave. Does have the Fura boots as well as the QSS now, and that two items that Nezreal does love in the Muramana and, of course,
he's
the
ready
Frozen
to fight.
Gauntlet. Yeah, damn right he is. He's online.
And more importantly, he's ready to kite, like you said, having the Fura boots.
Fight and kite.
Fight and kite.
Oh, yeah. Definitely feeling good about that.
The sit and spit, the fight and kite. What does Lucian get to be?
The skate.
Skate and dominate?
Yeah, dominate and skate. I like that.
Dominate and skate. There we go.
I feel like there's too many syllables in dominate, but it's probably about the best we can do, right? Yeah. No, I'll put some extra thought into that. We'll see whether we can...
I liked the dominate and skate.
Yeah, you reckon it works?
Yeah.
All right, cool. I'll take your word for it. Well, GA, once again, doing some camping here. Not sure what style of pop 10 he has, but it must be comfortable here as Pekko. Oh my god, thank goodness those chains didn't land. Otherwise, that would have been a dead mid laner or 80 carry on the side of QG.
Someone else needs to be assigned across from this LeBlanc to stop him.
Or QG need to make something else happen now that most of that money is being tied up towards the top side of the map. But at the moment, WE have the inside track on everywhere. Look at all of this vision available for this squad. In fact, it's all over the place. Pekko's going to get dove.
But they're completely dictating the tempo of the game. The reason why they're not consolidating the resources is because QG's composition thrives in the 5v5, in the flanking ability. So why fight like that?
Well, it's a really good point. Pulverize is going to knock up 957, who's tanked the turret for about 15 years right now. V is in so much trouble as Mystic wants a true shot barrage more. Does still have the ultimate running, so will survive for now. As Uzi, you had no right surviving that. That is single-digit health that he survived on. And QG just pressured off this turret.
Swift's like, my turn, boys. Meanwhile, in the top lane, the damage that Xie has done, finally coming to a head, takes an outer tower for his troubles.
And you're right. I mean, what are they going to do?
It's brilliant. Again, it's a 5v5 composition from QG. Never group up as 5. You have this massive advantage in that right now, not even the tank. Now he might be able to because he has the Spirit Visage, but the tank couldn't even safely stand across from the LeBlanc. No one can lane assignment him. Yep. So if she is going to find these easy 1v1s as we take the replay at it, or QG are going to send multiple resources to deal with him, then it's just going to mean a free objective across map for Team WE.
Did you see GA do the distort flash there as well?
Yep.
Oh, God. Repugnantly beautiful.
A truculent run on him.
Most certainly was, but Dragon is going to be taken down here by WE. They're still looking for the fight on the side of QG, though, as there's the culling out of Uzi. Mystic, not a lot of mana. WE grab the Dragon, though, and they'll get out.
Great disengage right there. Again, the power and disengage of Ezreal.
No.
It's not worth it.
See you later. Oh, Swift actually dodges out of the way of the, I believe, Mimic Distortion there.
But
so
he also has Lamb's Respite. And jumping... Oh, snipe.
Yeah, another one comes down. Swift nimbly avoids it using the I'm going to walk tactic.
Look at Xie, just on the hunt.
Oh, V. Now trying to do with Xie. Does have a Spirit Visage like you were talking about, so Xie probably not going to be able to kill him. But that is Luden's Echo and an extra needlessly large rod picked up by this guy, so anybody else will definitely die. Uzi actually going to be able to secure that blue buff. And you can see QG had that early lead. But it's all about WE after that last team fight. And they've just been able to grab more and more and more. We're about 9 minutes away from the WE time, that 35 minutes, the magic moment.
The big thing right now is that WE's easiest objective to contest on the map is actually going to be the inner mid tower. Because remember, it's a siege composition, and at some point when you're attempting to siege into the base, it actually gets very scary for this comp despite how far ahead they are, because again, that's when QG can look for those very easy teleport flanks, get the Maokai behind enemy lines, and just try to run them over. So I actually feel like pressure is on for Team WE to make a massive pick here, like this one, and then translate that into Baron pressure.
Well, Death Ray is going to come down. GA He's going to eat a Chaos Storm as Peko just flashes for what looks like no reason.
He's trying to confuse him with the distortion, or the clone. But good job on Swift.
Save some time there. Make sure Swift can get in there. Take that one down. WE, though, in the meantime, they pulled 2 down towards the bottom side of the map. And that is going to spell Baron here for WE. Really good heads-up play as more. He's going to poke his head in, sees 4 members in the Baron pit and says, heck no, I ain't doing nothing about that.
Yeah, and the big issue is the fact that it was Swift that gets the cleanup kill on LeBlanc, like you said, pulls them across map, means that they're not able to get in position to stop. But this is what I was talking about. Sieging was a little bit too dangerous for Team WE at this point on the map, just because you're either sieging mid-tower, easy flanks there, or you're sieging into QG's base, even easier flanks there. So they look for the pick, and they translate that into Baron.
And it's just purely strategic-minded thinking here from WE as well.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Xie's down there for a reason. That wasn't him getting picked off. He's like, well, if someone comes in and tries to answer this kill, it was still a 1-for-1. They try and answer this, we just take Baron, and they were already on it. WE acting like a unit right now, and this is what we saw. Games 3 and 4 especially yesterday against RNG, a team that was also playing phenomenally well, especially in the first couple of games. This team is no slouch, and WE have stepped up massively towards the end of this season. If they were to take down this series, it's a well-deserved victory for a team that has come so far.
Yep, made some pretty big roster adjustments in their off-season. And in the face of all of these star Koreans being picked up by other organizations, Team WE seemed to get the short end of the stick, but proving with results that that wasn't the case.
Yeah, and actually, Xie's looking for a Leandri's Torment, or just wants immediate magic penetration.
Well, the thing is again, he can pretty much kill anyone on QG's side except for the Maokai, so the magic penetration is going to help him at least chip away at that tree a little bit more. And if he gets
Leandri's, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, and if he gets the Leandri's, then it even is kind of double duty against Maokai.
Even better news story. He's got a lot of health. As Uzi was coming down, but 957. Yeah, nah, he ain't going to be pushed out of that lane, and he can just run away. There's some giggles coming in now for WE.
But it's just so patient, you know? Don't force anything. Just let Xie continue to get these leads, pull multiple resources, and take other objectives on the map. This has just been such a clinical and clean game from Team WE.
It certainly is, and Condi is going to be able to take down a turret there towards the mid lane. Swift as well. End of the line is going to be dodged. As Xie just jumps over the top. Uzi was the target. The distortion is going to get him back out. Going to just wait the, like, what, 4 seconds for his ultimate to be back off cooldown, says Max saltily. And V doing his very best to try and defend down here. WE seem to be everywhere on this map. No stun to come through from the Cosmic Binding as V just taking so much damage in form of chip here under the turret. Mystic is just a big deal.
Making use of that magical journey. Here we go.
Yeah, Xie actually jumping in over the top. He does get, oh my goodness, shut down immediately. Swift is going to fall as well, though. V is going to try and teleport in for the flank. Moore's going to die, though, and they've just still got so much damage. He's like, and I'm here. Oh, wait. Oh, crap. Sorry, guys. And now he's just going to run away. Maokai, you're adorable, but that is a magical journey of death heading towards you. He flashes out of the way, but there's the wall bang. 957 is going to be able to lock down the Maokai. And the adorable kitty's going to get taken here as 0. That was an optimistic move, as Uzi's able to get a lot of damage down on top of him. But Peko now trying to make his way over. Not going to be able to take down Mystic. The Chaos Storm just going to sit there spinning unhappily. And that is only Uzi left alive.
And that's the brilliance of Team W. We call them B-tier players, but S-tier team. The fact that they saw that the TP was going to be coming in, and they immediately knew that we have to quickly burst out the majority of QG's team. They immediately rush towards Uzi and friend, kill more,
God.
And then when Maokai shows up, there's nothing to fight for.
Just done.
Just
Magical
done.
Journey gets them out. I just swear, this team, with Zero stepping up the way he is, I feel like everyone just gets better. I think that is like the beauty of a team with a star support player. Just makes everyone else look incredible.
Both of these teams have the identity that they're supposed to be like the best teamwork teams.
Yeah.
Now, Doinby is a big piece missing from QG's teamwork, and when they're firing on all cylinders and rolling together. But Team WE, I mean, when they're together, when Zero's leading them, when they had the magical journey, they look unstoppable.
They are on a magical journey together. And it looked very different when WE were denied that. That being said, you know, he did have a great Janna performance. Almost managed to turn that one around in the final game there as well. against RNG. Unfortunately, the comfort picks, the power from this RNG roster was enough to get them past, and the early game pressure was translated into a victory in game number 5. But can't stop singing the praises here of WE. Looked a lot better.
It's an excellent time to be a WE fan again.
Yeah. I'm ready to hop back on the bandwagon. I thought that as soon as Aluka was gone...
That was it for you? That's where you decided to eject?
Yep, my fandom was done. But now...
He's like, Salme, no, I can recover from that one. Aluka, I'm okay. And then Luke leaves, he's like, no, that was too much. Wei Xiao's retirement.
No one's going to be doing like backwards crescendos. It's just going to be awful. No train drivers. There's a new Scion skin out. Like, where is he?
Conan's not on the roster anymore? No, this is...
No Tibbers running rampant. Oh, God, Conan.
I am actually a fan of Conan, so you better watch it.
No, just, there's just been so many names. So many names. Jie is going to jump over there, using his distortion just to try and get some chips on that pink ward. Culling comes down one more time here as Jie is positioning himself pretty expertly. Oh, actually takes a little bit of poke damage. But QG now just dealing with that mid lane that's been broken open. Now, the floor is open for this siege. A minute left on the Baron. We'll see whether WE actually peel off to try and take that objective down. Oh God, Swift. Just doesn't care about Lamps Respite either.
Just continuing this chip damage. Meanwhile, 957 in the top lane is looking to apply pressure towards the last standing tower.
Yeah, and it's also just really dangerous, the fact that the mid lane inhibitor was the one that broke, because now it's just too hard to defend multiple fronts here with the super creeps coming in. V actually going to take damage here from 957, and Gia going to help out. My God, the tree is burning to death as Mystic has been ignited as well, but V is going to fall. It's just the extra damage available here from this LeBlanc with the death cap completed now as well. Magical Journey gets 0 out as Moore looking for a headbutt pulverize, but Condi is going to turn this one around. The ultimate comes out as Tempered Fate is going to lock up both Pekko and Moore. Uzi, an interesting use of the culling, and there's the knock up from 957. Massive distortion damage does eliminate the cow as Condi's just going to flash into it. Pekko going to get smacked in the head by the shotgun, and WE are looking to try and end this game. The inhibitor's going to fall down. I have a feeling that they're not going to waste any more time either. Nexus turret's falling here as 3 are dead on Xiaogu's side. And WE 5 men strong. That is another one for Jie. The mid lane are smashing faces right now on this LeBlanc. And WE are out with something to prove despite the early game prowess of QG.
And this is the dominant force that we expect from Team WE's teamwork. When they're all together, when they're moving cohesively as a unit, they can keep up with the best of them. They took RNG to 5 games, and they come out swinging against the likes of QG in this 3rd place match.
Yeah, really beautiful to see. And WE just look unfazed by a lot of problems that happen in the early stages of the game. And we see a lot of teams have like the early game all mapped out. They understand exactly what to do. Of course, you can practice early games very, very effectively. But when it comes to something like mid-game shot calling and sort of making sure that you have those strategic decisions down, that is all on the fly. That is all about shot calling. And I have a feeling like Zero stepping up, like a lot of these players that are so cerebral on this WE lineup, they're the ones that are really impressing me at the moment.
No, I completely agree. It was definitely a very controlled and methodical game from Team WE almost the entire way through. Big props to Xie, knowing that they had the isolated lane matchup in the 1v1. They got him the advantage, and then just using that advantage on every lane to continue to pull QG around so that they never got their 5v5, so that they continue to expand leads and then making an insurmountable gold lead.
And it was this fight. From here on, WE never let the pressure drop once in this match, and despite the fact that QG did get things done early on, there was a whiffed collateral damage, but look at it, QG now on the aggressive, but successful disengage, then the re-engage comes in, Tempered Fate dodge, but who cares, because look at that Cosmic Binding onto both of the carries.
And likewise, the other big issue is that look at V's mana bar for the entirety of this team fight. Yes, that Maokai is full health, but he's unable to really assist his team in any sort of way with his abilities.
It's just a body, basically, and a body that is inevitably going to fall down. So congratulations to WE, but this is a best-of-5 series, and we'll see whether it is going to be turned around now by QG, because they did look like they still had some plans in the early game, but unfortunately it all seemed to fall apart after that one fight.
And I want to talk about the lane swap a little bit, because I think that was kind of a big factor there to Team WE's success, and also QG's downfall. So it was a nice decision that Uzi gets an isolated lane, like he just gets to farm. We know that Uzi can perform in either standard lanes or a lane swap quite effectively, but the fact is that Mystic and Zero are so key, like you said, to Team WE's success, Zero in particular on that Bard, that I feel like they really need to prioritize a stronger 2v2 for Uzi and Moore, make sure that they get that standard matchup, and try to put Zero and Mystic into the ground. We know that Uzi has the ability there, but QG need to be more diligent on their level 1 warning to make sure that they get that.
Yeah, and despite the fact that Uzi was able to farm very effectively, it just wasn't necessarily the way they were able to carry out the game. But ladies and gentlemen, still lots more games to come in this best of 5 series, and we'll see whether QG are going to be able to fight back in game number 2.